mentioned, I have a book that I've published, and it's impossible for me to go through all the information, but I've pretty much mapped out everything in terms of a game plan on what to do from middle school all the way up into high school in terms of getting your child ready and properly prepared for college. So I will have these after we wrap up this. So first, one of the things I want to just kind of talk about that's already been discussed, so that way you are informed of what's going on. And the good thing is, with the changing trend, it's not going to affect you as much. But there was discussion around the remedial. We really didn't use the words remedial, but when students have to take classes and they're not getting credit for it and they're paying for it, they're pretty much taking remedial courses. Well, I'm glad that Georgia has changed their high school graduation requirements, because there is a high trend across the U.S. of students who need remedial courses or remediation when they go to colleges. And unfortunately, we are dominating that number. And what's happening is the government is basically cutting back on the amount of dollars they're spending on remediation, because they spend billions of dollars every year. And you're also finding that your major institutions are no longer offering remedial courses. And the reason that is critical to us, because if major universities are not offering remedial courses, then our students are only limited to community colleges or the community colleges that are offering those courses. So for instance, for the state of Georgia, many parents don't know this, but all of the state universities here in Georgia would no longer offer remedial courses. So if your child needs a remedial course, which is a third of the students who graduate, and a lot of them graduate, about 4 out of 5 of the students who graduate needing remedial courses, they graduate with GPAs above 3.0. They cannot go to a Georgia Tech, UGA, or anything. They will have to go to a community college. And the statistics for students who go to community colleges, and they start out that route, the statistics are very high that they're more than likely they're not going to finish. So we want to make sure we're giving you this information early, so that you can properly prepare yourselves and prepare your students. And when your child get ready to go and transition into high school, you're better equipped to ask the counselors the right questions, making sure they're putting your child in the right classes, so that when your child graduates, they have the right courses they need in order to transition into a college or a university without having to take any remedial courses. So I wanted to just kind of put some emphasis on that, because that is a trend that is really growing, and unfortunately many of our families are unaware of what's going on. It's just another tactic, as I classify it, a way of making it more difficult for us to get our kids into colleges. So please be aware of the trends and what's going on in the legislature and the different tactics and things that are going on, so that you can make sure it doesn't affect you. And then be sure to share that knowledge with your family members, your relatives, your friends, your co-workers, to help them be educated about what's going on also. So I want to move on, because we've already talked about some of the other things that's already been discussed. So one of the things I want to talk about, I've mapped out this, not really an equation, but it's an acronym on the parent's role in terms of helping their child prepare for their future. And it's really using the letters of parents. And P stands for plan and prepare. We can't emphasize it enough, the importance for you guys to start early and to plan and to prepare for your child's future. So that means you're going to have to write some goals. You're going to have to write down what that plan is. You know, okay, if your child's going to go to college, or if they're going to go to the military, or whatever it is, what are the steps to get them there? What coursework should they be taking now in their 8th grade year, in their high school, when they transition to high school? What are the things you should be doing now? How are you going to pay for it? So you have to map out a plan. Those who fail to plan, they plan to fail. And I know nobody in this room wake up every day to say, you know what, I think I'm going to fail today. It's not an option. So if you don't want to fail and you want to be successful, you have to put it on paper. You're going to have to map out a plan on how to do it and what to do. Also, in terms of planning, it was touched on, but we really didn't go into talking about the PSATs, the SATs, and the ACTs. Now is the time for you to start getting your kids ready for these standardized tests.
They take it here.
It's good that they take it here, but that's not across the board. That's the unfortunate thing. It's not across the board. So we have to start preparing them early. You can start giving them vocabulary assignments. Start building their vocabulary up. Have them read the dictionary. Get that thesaurus out. We don't know how to pick up a dictionary anymore. We have to go back to the basics on some of these things. Start getting your kids prepared. Our counterparts are starting their kids in 3rd and 4th grade, getting them ready for these standardized tests. PSAT is a very important test. If your child does, if they perform well on that PSAT and they rank in the higher percentile, then they are in the running to be a National Merit Scholar. National Merit Scholar allows that child to go to any school they want to go to for free. So investing and mapping that plan out early and starting the process now, you can open up the doors to many opportunities, but you have to start early. So P, that's P for of the parent process. It's called planning and preparing. A is accountability. You have to hold your kids accountable, but you have to know what they're supposed to do in order to hold them accountable. But this is a team sport. You all, as parents, you are the coach of your child's life. You have to coach them through this process. So with that, you have to hold them accountable. Give them assignments. Help them be responsible and accountable for their education and for their future. It's real simple. You can do as little as have them dedicate 3 to 5 hours a week towards their college education. So that can be an hour towards ACT, towards test prep, an hour towards scholarship preparation, an hour towards building their community service portfolio. We've talked about community service. Competition is steep, y'all. Competition is steep. We already talked about what's going on with the Hope Scholarship. Well, you also have more and more families in the pool looking for scholarship dollars. Families who used to be able to afford to pay for their kids to go to college, they are now competing for the same scholarships that you all are competing for. So now that pool has drastically increased. So what are you going to do to make sure your child is set apart? So it's not good. You can't settle for my child doing community service. Anybody can go feed the homeless. Anybody can go to the nursing home and volunteer. You have to be creative in what you do. You have to be strategic in your approach. Look at what you can create. How can you add value to your community? So sit down with your child and look at what are some of the things that they're good at? What are their skills? What are the needs of the community? What is a program that you can actually implement, you can create to say that I created this and it did this, this, and this. That's what's going to help you set up. That's what's going to help you stand out. Not I went and fed the homeless on Thanksgiving Day. It's just not good enough anymore. You have to be creative and strategic in what you're doing. So that's the A. R, research for resources. We cannot be afraid to get knowledge and seek the knowledge and seek the information. No longer can we sit aside and say, sit on the sideline and say, well, you know what? I didn't know. We have the internet. It's too much information out there. Take advantage of the resources that's there. Don't be afraid to invest in your child's future. I talk to parents and I hear them talk about, well, okay, it costs too much money for me to send them to a test prep class. Well, if you know your child is not good at taking standardized tests and you've been out of school for a while, why not invest? It's not a cost, it's an investment. It's how you look at it. Why not invest that money into a test prep class that will help them perform better on these standardized tests that can open the door for them to get scholarship money and potentially go to school for free. You're going to get your money back and then some. So we have to change our mindset and our perspective and how we view things. Stop looking at some of these resources as a cost. Look at it as an investment. It's like a 401k. You invest in money in your retirement so that it will pay off in the long run. And the more you invest into it, the more you sow into it, the more it's going to grow. And also look at summer programs. This is another area that parents are remiss in taking advantage of. We have to get our kids exposed to other elements and other activities and organizations. There are many schools, universities, who are offering summer programs for even middle school kids, starting in middle school. Take advantage of those resources. Take advantage of those resources. That will also help you get scholarship dollars for your child when you go to college, when they're looking to go to college. E is engagement. You have to engage in the process. You cannot just tell your child, I want you to work on this week. You have to engage them in that process. Be a partner with them. Let them know you are involved. You are invested in what they're doing. Because that's going to help them be accountable, and that's going to keep them honest and true to the process. N is negotiate. I want you to know that everything is negotiable. Just because somebody offers you something, it doesn't mean you have to accept it as is. Financial aid packages are negotiable. And the more marketable you make your child, the more leverage you have in negotiating and getting them the best deal when it comes to them going to college. So always keep that in mind. Everything is negotiable. When you buy a car, you don't just take what they offer you, you negotiate it. Same thing with the college education. T is time management. Getting ready for college, you have to be able to manage your time. And it's a good opportunity to teach your kids these values, because they need to learn how to manage their time when they get ready to go to college and they don't have you there coaching them along the way. Show them how to plan, show them how to set goals, show them how to measure it, and show them how to manage their time and balance schoolwork, extracurricular activity, community service, preparing for their future, because it's going to prepare them for life. And S, which is the last part of parents, is support. You all are providing them the support that they need. You're encouraging them. You're helping to give them the guidance along the way, but at the same time, build a support team. You can't do it by yourself. You may get discouraged, so you got to have somebody that's going to help encourage you. While you're encouraging your child, have a team of people who can encourage all of you. Make this a family project. Get your grandmother, get them aunties, them uncles, those who have a vested interest in the success of your child. Make them part of that support structure. Make them part of that team. They can help you hold your child accountable as they're preparing for college. So that's what I put together. That's what I use in terms of talking to parents and helping you all understand what your role is in this process of getting your child ready for college. And you have to start now. Please don't wait till high school. I have every year, at the beginning of the year, I have parents calling me, and they're usually parents of seniors. What am I to do? My child hasn't taken the ACT test yet. We haven't applied for school. We haven't done this, and I'm sitting there like, I'm not a miracle worker. What do you want me to do? You have to start the process early. If you start early, the less stress you will have when your child gets to high school. So I want you to be able to enjoy their high school years. I want your child to be able to enjoy their high school years. But the only way they can do that is if you start early and you properly plan and prepare for that process. So I hope these tools that I gave you, I hope it helps you put a plan into place that will lead you on a pathway to success, in addition to the information that's already been shared in terms of the scholarship dollars and understanding how to find money, because money is out there, but you have to be positioned in order to receive it. And that comes again from planning and preparing early. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I have books in the back.